Look, this is a very important case, probably the most important since 1982 when the Supreme Court looked at the Texas public school case. This is an issue of whether or not states have the right to pass laws consistent with Congress's intent in the federal immigration scheme that are trying to assist the executive branch here in D.C. in carrying out the purposes of immigration law.
Let's get some more reaction to the Arizona decision from Dan Stein. He's the president of the country's largest immigration reform group, the Federation for American Immigration Reform, or FAIR. Mr. Stein, just straight up front, when you read the Arizona decision, what's your take?
Well, I think the ball's now thrown back to Congress, because the Supreme Court, essentially the majority opinion, the Kennedy opinion, embraces the Obama administration's claim that they have unlimited discretion to ignore immigration law, and states have no authority in this area. And the majority opinion scrupulously ignores 200 years of jurisprudence and history that says that Congress, can delegate to the states specific authority. There's all sorts of provisions in the immigration law that say they want states to help the executive branch in enforcing the law. And instead, the Kennedy opinion cites the Morton memo, the so-called Obama-Morton memo, that essentially says we have the right to ignore millions and millions of immigrants here illegally and do whatever we want. And nobody can stop us. In the end, Congress has to step up to the plate and give very specific statutory guidance on what states cannot do in the area of federal, the field preemption area of immigration law. I mean, the Obama administration has told everybody around the world that if you come here on a visitor visa and overstay, if you enter without inspection and secure entry, get into the system, into the country, past the Border Patrol, and you are identified, you will never be removed.
Effective immediately, the Department of Homeland Security is taking steps to lift the shadow of deportation from these young people. Over the next few months, eligible individuals who do not present a risk to national security or public safety will be able to request temporary relief from deportation proceedings and apply for work authorization. Now, let's be clear, this is not amnesty. This is not immunity. This is not a path to citizenship. It's not a permanent fix.
The problem with this DREAM Act today is not only that it is, in fact, an amnesty, but this president declared unilaterally this afternoon that the United States of America has a brand new immigration policy in place. He usurped the congressional authority to make laws and to regulate immigration, and he did not give Americans, who are the true stakeholders in what happens with our immigration policy in America, any say in the matter. Where are the limits to executive power if he can have an edict in this area?
I just have to continue to say, this notion that somehow I can just change the laws unilaterally is just not true. We are doing everything we can administratively, but there are laws on the books that I have to enforce. And I think there's been a great disservice done to the cause of getting the DREAM Act passed and getting comprehensive immigration passed by perpetrating the notion that somehow by myself I can go and do these things.
Are the two positions inconsistent, and which one, if so, was right?
Well, basically, the fact of the matter is the president has the same legal team that he had now. Nothing's changed since March 2011 when he said he didn't have the authority. This is an outrageous power grab. I will defend to my dying day the right of Congress to make the decisions on who gets to come to this country and who does not. The president's responsibility is to faithfully execute the laws of the United States. He does not have the right to completely rewrite the immigration law. So what he's done essentially is shown that he can be cowed by a radical wing of his party for political reasons, hijack our immigration policy for partisan electoral reasons against the basic core principle that our Constitution gives to Congress the right to make these decisions. The way the president articulated the legal standard, Megan, there is no definable limit to the executive branch's ability to let in or allow to stay unlimited millions and millions of people here illegally, illegal aliens from all over. Congress repeatedly rejected the DREAM Act. Therefore, the president's power in this area is at its low ebb.
The red-hot debate over illegal immigration now spreading from Arizona to California. The Senate there passed a measure that could create a sanctuary state for illegal immigrants by protecting many of them from deportation.
Well, what's objectionable here is that California is taking unto itself the right to ultimately decide which criminal aliens will fall within the net, the framework of ICE or federal government enforcement. And in fact, the Supreme Court said anything, if they said anything right last week, it was that the federal government and the executive branch have some say in enforcement priorities.
Well, first of all, he may not have volunteered to come to the United States illegally, but he certainly volunteered to be, as Francisco pointed out, a poster child. He is making himself a martyr for a cause. And this is a cause that affects the American people. It's not just about the illegal aliens. The reason we have immigration laws is because illegal immigration harms the basic interests of the American people. It affects jobs. It affects billions of tax dollars every year. That is why those laws are in place.